Hello guys, and today I want to speak with you a bit about the updates from the front lines. But perhaps the most important update in general, that now front lines are both, not only in Ukraine but also in Russia. Something that seemed totally unbelievable is new Russian reality since the 6th of August. President Zelensky reported about our actions both in Donetsk and Kursk directions, and there are lots of things I'm happy to share with you. But also, I know that our community is very good at analysis. You can clearly see that failures at the front lines for Russia are always connected with lightning, are always connected with their violence that is multiplied during such periods. And that is the explanation why they target like crazy so many civilian objects in Ukraine, literally in every Ukrainian city. This is crazy. Today, people killed innocent people, children, families in Lviv. And if you look at the photos of the objects destroyed, it is obvious these are schools, these are hospitals, these are flats of people, these are not military objects. And another very vivid reminder, Russia must be defeated and very severely punished. And that's what we do at the front lines. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity and to see Putin in prison. I'm sure sometime very soon we will discuss this event on the channel. But right now, front lines are moving or they are stable, whatever perspective you choose. Because from one point of view, every day something very dramatic and very important is happening. From the other point of view, you will not see very serious movements of troops on any sides of the front line. Kursk is very hot zone. Lots of people are now fighting to defend this important logistics connection in Ukraine. And at the same time, you do not observe lots of changes, all because both Ukrainian and Russian armies are very exhausted. That's obvious. What is good, despite the fact that Putin and his criminal gang pretend nothing is happening and Kursk is okay, they do need to take away some of the military units from Pokrovsk direction and move them to Kursk direction, where they actually belong. All Russian soldiers belong to Russia or to hell, whatever you prefer. So it is extremely important to keep this front line from a Ukrainian perspective, but at the same time, it is good that we are moving in Kursk direction and we keep lots of settlements, because this will definitely be a good argument when we start negotiations after the defeat of Russia. That is a very important moment. No negotiations with people who are killing us. And they do it like crazy. Just have a look at the map of Ukrainian air raid alerts, how many educational establishments, schools were targeted just during this very first days of September that are the start of the school year in Ukraine. But we are confident, believe me, the morale and spirit of Ukrainian people is very strong, because we clearly understand this is an existential fight, and not just for us. Traveling the European Union, I feel how many people from one point of view support Ukraine, but from the other point of view believe this is not their war, this is not their responsibility. People, you are so wrong. Do you know why? Because when such crimes against human life are committed, if we want to remain humans, we have to react. And believe me, if Ukraine is defeated, Putin will continue and he won't stop. And there will be no one to stop him, because I don't see many international organizations really working. Let's be honest, UN is just for quarrels. All this international criminal court mocked by Putin and the leadership, the so-called leadership of Mongolia. Guys, all the rules, all the things that you thought were working aren't. And only real bravery, resilience, Ukrainian creativity, and I don't know, How come we are so strong in these circumstances? Honestly, I'm not boasting. I'm just looking at the reality. Subscribe and please share those videos that you consider important, and help spread more information about this war that is already global, because authoritarian regimes are observing. With Ukrainian Kursk operation, we have demonstrated that we can defeat Russia, that there are lots of zones in which this big dying empire is extremely vulnerable. You know, honestly, before the start of war, the full-scale war, lots of countries that are our allies supplied Ukraine with partisan-style weapons because no one believed we will stand against this evil. We will survive Putin's plan of blitzkrieg, and we did that. I think that we constantly surprise people, so finally, please let us strike back and let us fight back. Because, I don't know what is the reason behind this ban not to destroy Russian military objects when you clearly see every day they kill children in Ukraine, and Ukrainian children are just the same as French children, as German children, as American children, as Chinese children. They are children, they are innocent, and every day Russia drops bombs, ballistic missiles, Russia shoots with artillery to kill life in Ukraine, to destroy all of our territories. Do you know how they move on the front lines? This is not about strategy. This is not about tactics. This is not about bravery of their soldiers. They simply, knowing that we cannot target them on the Russian side, they simply shell with everything they had, including huge cab bombs, like that have 500 kilos of explosives. They drop them on every inch of Ukrainian land, literally burning everything there, and then they move on this part of the territory that they have burned. It's not smart, it's very violent and very non-human, and this has to be punished and this has to be stopped. And it's so crazy that we must have these instruments, like countries around Ukraine have dozens and hundreds of patriots, and Ukraine is asking when Ukraine is the only country shelled. It's insane. And when we can, and we're good at doing that, even with our drones, even I hope we will use our developed ballistic missiles that we develop in times of war that no one has experienced among those people who judge us or analyze us. But I don't know. Can you imagine living with Putin as a president after the destruction of Ukraine, for example? Do you think this world will be okay? And let's sacrifice Ukraine, nothing bad will happen. Many bad things will happen after you sacrifice something. Think about 1938. Think about Czechoslovakia. Think about Austria. How many people wanted to appease Hitler? Putin is a war criminal. There is an ICC order to arrest him. And what? And nothing. Mongolia says money are more important than international agreements. So the only thing that can actually protect the world from Putin and other authoritarian regimes that observe him, that are inspired by him, is actually people like Ukraine. People who are ready to fight for their freedom, for democracy, for common human values. I know you support that, but please help spread the word. Help persuade the world that Russia can be defeated. Just have a look how our front lines moved to Kursk region. That now many Russian regions, I have counted more than 7, are a real war zone, because we want to protect our land. We don't want all of the Ukraine to be burned by evil Russian cubs while global leaders are observing. It's just like, I've read this in a newspaper today, and I totally agree with that. Poland will help Ukraine restore Lviv after 7 people killed, and a very beautiful family today all over Ukrainian Facebook. The husband survived, and his wife and 3 daughters, beautiful daughters, 2 are students, killed while sleeping in their home. 9-year-old, 18-year-old, and 21-year-old girls. What will they restore him and what these girls, good students, clever participants of various competitions could have brought to Ukraine. This cannot be restored. And why on earth people are ready to invest money in restoring Ukraine? You cannot resurrect people who are killed, but not shut down these missiles. Don't help Ukraine destroy these missiles while still on the side of a very, very evil country. I'm sure you've seen that. Why? What's the logic? So first we kill you and then we mourn you. That's insane. And moreover, this Russian attacks on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure, on all Ukrainian cities, is a very clear demonstration they are failing on the front lines. They are losing their soldiers like crazy in hundreds and thousands for nothing, to move 10 kilometers, which is insane because we took the same territory in just 2 weeks with no opposition from the Russian side and totally lost population and without victims among the civilians. People whose side the world is on. Honestly, don't think this is not your war. This is war between black, dark, evil, and good, kind. This is the war between countries that disrespect human life and countries that care. I know you know that, but that's insane what is happening and how many people still express their concerns. It's much better to prevent these tragedies, to prevent these losses, to prevent these destructions, and it is also possible. And the idea of escalation and red lines is the one introduced by cowards, not even by Putin. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. There are lots of good things we discuss here too, and there are lots of smart things we develop in Ukraine to defeat Russia, and I'm always happy to share here. Please leave your questions. I'm always happy to answer them. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, Discord. I'm very active there. Check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. All the links you can find in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Can't wait to return back home and return back to writing. Some really good ideas chased me during my travels, and I'm actually so happy that I can take you with me wherever I am, but I'm always happy to be with you in Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!